So hi and welcome to another video, and today I'm going to show you how to get the Model O wireless down to 52 grams or 57 grams depending on your configuration, doing a weight reduction here. In this video here I'm going to show you everything you need to do to achieve this weight, and then you can decide for yourself what mod you'd like to make. Now if you need to know how to tear this down, I've done a video already on this and I'll put a link in the description, and I'll show you how to take it all apart so you can begin your weight modification. If you're not familiar with this channel is going to provide you with all the data and statistics to get the edge over your other gamers here. It gives you things like latency tests on reviews of mice. It gives you things like force actuation press on mouse buttons, as well as a lot more detail. So check out my other reviews if you want to understand other mice and every little bit of detail about them. So on the back here, we start to trim out the main shell part, and I'm looking what I can and can't take out here. I'm just going to go through this entire shell, trimming off the bits that I don't need. And you can follow this and take off what you require yourself, and then we'll do a quick weight of each component, and then we'll piece it all back together. So what I do try to avoid here is taking any off where the buttons are at the front of this, because that can affect the click. But on the rear of the mouse here, you can certainly take quite a lot off, achieving some of the weight. A lot of people are going to ask me about the balance here, and whether that's going to affect the position of that. And what you can do is tweak the battery and put it in each position, either further back or further forward, and you can alter the balance of the mouse to give you that neutral balance that you want. If you want me to make one of these for you, I can put a link in the description to my shop where I do all the custom mice that you can buy. Or you can obviously follow this video if you wish. If you want to know what tools I'm using, I'll also put a link for those if you want to buy some yourself as well. You see that I'm streaming this as well, so if you're not subbed already either on Twitch under Beardedbob or my YouTube channel Beardedbob where you're watching this, then make sure you are subscribed or following me, and then you can make sure you catch the next mice because we've got a lot more to do. We've already done the G Pro wireless Superlight as well, which is quite a good mouse to get some weight out of, definitely worth checking out. So just keep working out on the back here. The flex is pretty good on this anyway. You can see it's going to move, but once it's back on the base here, you won't have any issues with flex. The tip here is to keep going back and just putting the components back on it, just to make sure you're not destroying where the clips are, and just make sure you can line things up to see where you want to be. Unfortunately, I do keep going out of focus a little bit here, so apologies. It's a little bit tricky way trying to stream and trying to chop it. So now we're moving on to the base here. There's definitely some weight to take out of this, even though it's been nicely done here by Glorious to allow it to have this honeycomb effect, but we can still take some more out here. What we're going to do is start to take out the side parts here at the back. I'm just trimming along the honeycomb piece here, keeping it, and what I'm going to try and do is keep a piece from the sensor to the back of the mouse here, that honeycomb bit, to make sure we still got some rigidity there. You could trim it a little bit thinner, I think, now I've done it and understanding that, but it's up to you. I'd probably just leave it as thick as it is, to be fair. You're not going to save too much more weight if you did trim it a little bit more excessively. A lot of people also ask me, does it catch? And the answer is, it will do if there's some sharp pieces here, especially on cloth pads. So what I'd do is take some sandpaper or a little file here and just rub it down so you don't get any snags on it. It's fairly easy to do, and it's probably worth tidying up that way anyway, just to make sure it doesn't catch. There's also some additional bars in here for strength. Again, I trimmed those out. I don't really see the point, and I'm just checking the PCB as well to make sure that I'm not taking out any of the supports here. You want to make sure this stays at the same height as the default one. Don't make it any lower onto the base, so you can mess around with the LOD or lift off distance. So another thing I didn't notice here, and I did the teardown, is I didn't take the sticker off, which is a bit of a noob mistake from me. So I'm going to trim that off now. And you can see under here they've honeycombed it as well, which is nice to see. I'll put some drilled holes in it really. So again, on this piece, I just trim out along the holes here, which are nicely cut, nice and easy to cut away, and just trim out this middle piece, I guess, just in front of the sensor here. One thing I wouldn't do here, and I did check, is I wouldn't take any out of the front anymore beyond this piece. That's because the honeycomb at the front is supporting the clicks and the scroll wheel, and if you're pushing down on it, you could impact the integrity there. I mean, you could do it. I wouldn't do it personally, but you know, if you wanted to take it really, really far, it's something that you could look at. You can see it's got a little bit of flex in it, but that's pretty standard for bases. I wouldn't worry whatsoever. You don't generally apply too much force on the base itself there. You generally only apply it at the front where the clicks are, like we say. Now we've trimmed out the power button here. You are going to have to use a nylon stick like I've got there for taking the skates off, or a screwdriver or a pen or something just to turn the mouse on and off when you want to. I do that a lot with the Logitech, so no issue whatsoever. It's probably preference not to use something metal in case you short it, but just be careful. Now I'm looking at the back here. I can take off one of these screw holes at the back as well, because I'm going to be using one screw in the rear, so I'll take one of those off as well. You can pick which side you prefer. I actually took out the right hand side. So what we're moving on to now is taking out the DPI button here. So we're going to use a desolder gun here, which I've got, and then we're going to try and use some braid to get that off as well. So when we remove the switch, it's being a little bit funny with me. It won't come off so easily, so I have to use some braid as well. Just going that little bit extra here with the switch here. But it depends how far you want to take it. Like I say, I probably wouldn't do this, it's not worth it, but I just want to show what's possible here. If a little gram counts, right? So on to the next thing. This has got a massive 450 milliamp battery, which weighs around 8 grams here. So I'm going to swap it out for a 100 milliamp battery, which is weighing 3.6 grams here. It's 3.5 volts. I use these in the G Pro wireless, so I'm used to doing these. It's exactly the same method if you've seen it before. Now this is obviously going to give you a reduced battery life here, but for me, I don't see that being a problem. As long as it lasts me a day or two, I'm quite happy. Normally on the G Pro wireless, and it's going to depend on the sensor here for the glorious Model O, the G Pro wireless will last me about 7 days on this battery, so, and that's only normally got a 240 milliamp battery, so I think the weight mod's going to be worth it here for the battery, given it's less than half its weight. Again, my camera came a little bit out of focus, I apologize, but what I did was connect the black and the red together, and then I just put some insulation tape over it. And now we're going to re-piece it back together. Now we've done all these mods, so we're putting the PCB in and we're going to put it all back together, and then we're going to weigh it up. I'm using some M3 double-sided tape here to secure the battery. Like I say, if you want to move the weight around, the best bet is to move the battery. So make sure you've got long enough cables, and you can just position it around the mouse to try and get that even balance that you're after. Especially given a lot of switch weights at the front of this. On the side buttons themselves, there's a little post and a little pin. Make sure you push them in, and the side buttons here in the top of the shell, like the Razor Viper, like we said before, stop the shell from flexing, hence we could take some of the weight out of it. And then just make sure you put the ribbon cables in, which are really, really delicate here. Be very careful with that. And just making sure the battery works. Don't forget the middle clips on it here. Make sure they clip all in as well. Make sure the side buttons align, which will be a little bit tricky sometimes. Just give them a quick test, and then put your one screw in the base. Hooks in at the front, so that's all it needs. Check the buttons work before you put the feet on, because you don't want to take them off again. And then just put the feet back on it as well. I'll be releasing a video soon, which I've done for the G floats, which compare them to the standard PTFE. So if you're interested, make sure you subscribe for that. And that's the end of the weight modification. If you want to see the teardown video, it's in the description, which will show you how to take this apart as well. I'll be doing a full review in the next week, and I'll be comparing it also to the G Pro wireless as well as the Viper. So keep your eyes out for those videos. The RGB, once it's removed, leaves a little bit of a gap in the shell. So it depends if you want to leave those in. You could leave the diffusers in if you wished. I take them out because I'm trying to get maximum weight out of it, but you could leave those in so it still looked a little bit prettier. Overall, a pretty good weight reduction here from the Model O wireless. Nice. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. Bye bye.